Hello, everybody. I am so late. I'm so sorry. I'm still pinning up little things into my area here so that I know what I'm saying. Anyways, hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the U.S. And I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. It is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. I have new contacts in, so I'm adjusting my eyes. Hopefully they'll work today. Yeah, change your prescription. Anyways, a big hello to all of you. Thank you for sticking with me for the last 5-6 minutes. I was going to be late, so I typed in, give me 5 more minutes, and I'm rushing around my craft room. And some of you stuck around, so I'm so happy. Thank you. Today, I'm going to be sharing and demonstrating how to make for festive, really fun colored type of projects with the Round We Go bundle. So it's a stamp set and a coordinating die set that's new in our annual catalog this year. I'll also be using some other coordinating Stampin' Up! Products for you as I demonstrate. But along with that, I'm going to share with you some highlights and hidden gems in the annual catalog. Now, the annual catalog has been around since the beginning of May, but sometimes we have, trouble adjusting to new formats. And this catalog is definitely different than past catalogs that we've had. But there's a lot of wonderful things that I wanted to point out to you. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is because I prepared this presentation along with my friend and upline, Susan Camfield. We presented on this topic on stage at an event in early August. And so I thought I would share with you the projects along the way. And I've already shared a few of the projects in blog posts, but this is kind of like the last hurrah type thing with this presentation. I'm going to show you the last 4 projects that I haven't shared yet on my blog. And along with that, we're going to walk through parts and pieces of the catalog. Thank you so much to Trisha Josephs and to Lisa Marshall, who are here with us moderating. Trisha's on YouTube and Lisa is on Facebook. They're there to answer questions for you. Thank you for chiming in. And I always love the emojis like Pam just posted a couple dancing ladies. Always post those emojis. Those are so much fun to see. I'm a visual person. Anyways, tell us where you're from. Tell us how long you've been crafting. Say hello to each other because I know that a lot of you are building relationships as you come to my lives every week. So thank you. All right. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, like me out so I can continue doing what I love. So let's move on to, you know what? I'm not going to share that yet. We're going to talk about the catalog. Let's dive into the catalog. I'm going to open up the catalog here on my desktop. Oh, that's an extra piece of cardstock. I have like supplies everywhere right now. I'm the least organized that I've been in a long time, you guys. So bear with me today. All right, so some hidden gems. So this is the annual catalog. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Oops, did it not work? Oh, you guys don't even see it yet. There we go. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just a tad. There. All right. This is the annual catalog. It is our current publication, our only current publication, although if you've been watching lives or posts from demonstrators around, we have another catalog coming into play that I can't open up yet. This is our seasonal catalog. That's the September through December 2024 mini catalog. Lots of fun products are in our hands if we're demonstrators, and we're playing around with that, having a great time. But we're going to focus on this one today. So let's start with page 16 through 17. This is one of my favorites, one of the highlights of this catalog. The top 10 walks you through basics. So if you're a beginning crafter, this catalog is definitely welcoming to you. It talks about the essentials, the things that you would need to basically get started in paper crafting. And the whole beginning of the catalog is geared towards that. So check that out. 1 through 10, 10 including somebody like me. All right, raise your hand or chime in if you're also a fellow demonstrator. The second highlight or even hidden gem, we should say, of this annual catalog is that our adhesive section now has these little, I don't know if you'd call them emojis, little icons, I guess, that are listed or shown next to all the different kinds of adhesives. So if you're wondering what adhesive is good for 3D projects, you can just look for that little box shape. Does that make sense? So this is another hidden gem on pages 116 through 117. Another one is on pages 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79 through 80. This is the Encore bundle section. Now these things were previously bundled. They're no longer offered in bundles, but they pair well together. Now what I mean by that is they're no longer offered in bundles as a discounted product. When a bundle first shows up, like the Round We Go bundle that I'm going to share with you today on my projects, it's bundled. It's a die and stamp set combo that you can save money on when you buy them together. So hence the bundle. But these are things that still go well together. So don't miss those things. Now, some of them were not previously bundled. For example, this $1 million stamp set designed along with other artists and artists at Stampin' Up. I helped to design this. I'm just going to say that this is the Layering Leaves stamp set, and it coordinates with the bow punch. Now, this was never previously bundled at a discount, but it does go well together. I'm so glad that they featured that one there. Another section of the catalog that is a hidden gem or highlight is this section here, 58 and 59. This section shows two different bundles where you can purchase a stamp set along with dies, or you can purchase the stamp set along with a punch. So there's die and punch options on those two bundles. And then if we move to pages 104 through, oh, nope, that's not it. Yes, 104 is a great example here. This is shopping basket icons. This is what I would call like a little hidden gem, okay? Because it's something that's smaller, something that's harder to see. Thanks, you guys. Boy, I'm just like flustered today because I'm coming in very unorganized and I'm just stumbling over all my words. But thank you for your sweet words. So these little shopping basket icons here, those just let you know that if you look up that information, that little number in the online store at stampinup.com, you can find that set of dies, or you can find that stamp set shown in full form there, okay? So it just tells you that there's more to see if you go to the online store. Also along with that, on page, let's see here, this page here, there's these QR codes throughout the catalog. And the QR codes are something that if you have a smartphone camera, you just aim the camera at it and it will connect you. You just press the little, on my phone it's like a yellow button. You press that and it will bring you to that section of the internet where you can learn more about the Unbounded Beauty Suite or whatever it is that you're scanning. Let's go to pages 118. I'm going to go to my different catalog here because I have that one marked. Page 118. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. Pages 118 through 131. This is sort of like the technique learning section. This is really cool. This is something new. And so if you breeze through there, it talks about products, but it also talks about different techniques. The catalog is awesome. I love it. Okay, so if we go then to page 121, you can see that there is a fun fold card example here. So you can use those ideas to create on your own. You've seen this card before if you've been following me. I took that idea from the catalog. The catalog is a great idea book. Slip that belly band back on. Another technique that I was inspired by is on page 126. Do you remember when I shared this card in my blog? This is that deep like you press your stamp into multi-layers of embossing. So you make a really thick layer of embossing, you press into it when it's still warm, and you can get that look. So I was inspired by that section of the catalog. I have some little cards along with me from our presentation. So if you want to, you can take a screenshot of it, but that kind of gives you a little bit of more information about that card. Not all of my projects have that. Okay, another section is right here, and it's on page 110, but it's not within pages 118 to 131, right? So there are some other inspirational ideas throughout the catalog that give techniques or layouts or ideas, right? And so this card, which I shared a long time ago, not a long time ago, but within the last few months, that was inspired by this card here. All right, let's go to my notes over here. Sorry, I'm flipping through things. Let's go to another section of the catalog that I am completely in love with, and that is color theory. I love this page. This page gives you all the colors of the Stampin' Up! Rainbow right here on our color theory wheel. And then on the opposing page, the opposite page, you have 4 different types of color theory. There are more, but these are 4 basic types of color theory: monochromatic, complementary, analogous, and triadic. And I'm going to show you a few examples of that real quickly. Monochromatic, super easy to kind of figure out, right? Monochromatic is basically focusing in on one color and like little shades, deep, dark, light within that. These are perfect examples. I love monochromatic. Perfect examples of monochromatic. So again, that's like one little color of the color wheel and the darks and lights around it, okay? Then we have complementary. Now, complementary examples would be like, here you have opposites, reds and greens, right? Reds and greens are opposite of each other on the color wheel. So here would be, it looks like monochromatic except for this little hint here, and then you open it up. So you have complementary on a card like that. We have, these are cards, by the way, that I've shared in the past. These are all cards that I have created. So if you're curious about any of them, you got to look them up. You got to research them. And maybe I can help you find them. I don't have them all linked, but here's another example of complementary. It's a shaker with tulle in it. They're such awesome flat shaker cards, but we have opposite colors on the color wheel. Okay, more reds and greens. Here's another example of reds and greens, right? So then we go to analogous, and analogous colors, I don't do those as much, but it's basically a quarter of the wheel. So either, doing that, or even like this, okay? You take a larger section. So it's not so narrow like monochromatic is. It's a little bit wider. So it's the colors and the ones that are close to it on the color wheel. This would be an example. I don't have a card with it, but this is an example. This is an example. Gotta love the Full of Life paper. And then we have triadic. Triadic is what I'm going to focus on today for the projects that I'm sharing. Triadic could be the primary colors. Those are 3 opposite sections on the color wheel. Basically, you're taking the color wheel, you're dividing it into 3 equal sections and then grabbing the colors that land on those divisions. So primary, red, blue, and yellow are triadic colors. They're positioned that way on the color wheel. Secondary colors, orange, purple, green, right? Here's a orange, purple, greenish sample. Okay, this was like an old paper pumpkin kit. Here's another one. We have the yellows, blues, and reds. But you also don't have to follow just these things when you're creating. The color wheel is examples to help inspire your color combinations. You can also look to designer papers. You can look to things that are out there in advertising, right? You can also just have fun, right? Just play around and grab whatever colors you want. Just play with the rainbow. Okay, I'm going to grab these out of the way because they're just going to take up room on my desk. And we're going to put those over there. So today I'm going to focus on the Round We Go bundle, and we're going to show one other wonderful thing in the catalog, and that is the card templates. So let's go to the card templates now. Page 22 is where you will see 22 card sketches or card templates, whatever you want to call them. These are things to help you lay out your creations, okay? They're to help you design. Now, if you go to some pages in the catalog, they will give you little color wheels as examples of what was used on those projects. They'll also give you card templates of what was used for the design feature. So you can find those little hidden gems throughout too. Let's go back to page 22 again. Page 22 shows 22 of them, but there are 4 more. Terry Gaines, a fellow demonstrator, found these 4. She's so good. And so we're going to play around with them. One of them, though, I'm not going to do today. I'm going to show you examples from recent past projects. Let me bring those in. So do you see this card up here? I'm going to zoom in a bit. The little girl with her teddy bear. This template is shown here, but it's not shown on page 22. So that is hidden template number 1. And I took and made a scrapbook page with it. Here you can see that circle, the strips, and the sentiment piece. The circle, the strips, and the sentiment piece. Okay, I just took and put it into a scrapbook page instead. I shared this a few days ago. And here is the information on that, because that one came with a card if you're interested. And then we have that same template. I was inspired by the template to make scrapbook pages. You could use the template to make tags. You could make use the template to make boxes. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to just stay within a card. Just stretch and expand. And here's the information for that one. It was inspired by triadic colors, but I did not have an orange in there. And so we have the purples, the greens, and there's no orange, but that's what in our presentation led us to talking about the triadic colors. All right, let me show you another template that's hidden. And this one I do not have an example of with me today, but you see this card layout? There is the hidden template right there. So that template is also not one of the 22. And then we have page 82, where the turtle card is. This is another hidden template. And that one's going to be the first card I share with you, only it's opposite. So I have the big wheel, but I have the little wheel off to the left, and I have the sentiment off to the left, and they're kind of stretched out a bit more. And then the last hidden template is on page 41. No, 40, page 40, down here. And that's another one I'm going to share with you today. And that template actually is a little bit more elaborate. I did more than just a rectangle there. So there you go. Now you have some highlights and hidden gems of the annual catalog. And I'm going to start in with my project. Here's the Round We Go bundle. Look at this unique die. Do you see this here? We're going to die cut that with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Bring that in. We'll grab our base plate number 1, die adapter plate number 2, our scratchier cutting plate on the bottom, number 3. We're going to put our paper and die here, and then we'll use number 3 again. So let me grab some designer paper, and we're going to pull that designer paper from the Unbounded Love Suite here. Let's take, I think I already cut that one. Let's take and cut, we'll do this one here. Lots of pretty papers in that. It's using, that paper pack, by the way, uses the in colors. In fact, I'm using a lot of the new in colors in the project projects that I'm sharing today. Those in colors being Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, and what is the other one? I'm trying to remember which one I missed out on here. Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, oh, Pretty in Pink. So all those colors you will find in the Unbounded Love designer paper. So we have cut this out twice. This die will cut around the edges, and then all of those lines in there do scoring. So none of those are cut, they're just pressed into. Now we're going to take those pieces, we'll move this out of the way for now. We're going to take those pieces and we're going to fold. And you can start folding in either direction, it doesn't matter, but you're just making this fan. You're going back and forth and back and forth. And while I'm doing that, I'm noticing my fingernails, and I just want to point out that some of you may be aware that I was playing around with a new line of fingernail polish, but I've discovered that the remover has continued to do damage to my fingernails as acetone did or things like that. So I have stopped. I thought it wasn't doing anything, but it was. Okay, do you see this little tab here? I have very weak nails. I love the polish, and I love that you can put this remover on and paint it on, but I just have weak nails. So now, do you see how I bent it that way? I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So anyways, I am not promoting them anymore. I'm so sorry about that. But for those of you that have strong fingernails and you love polish, I did really like the Madam Glam products for color choices and all of that stuff. It just wasn't for my nails. Okay, so here we go. We have two little accordions. We're going to connect them. So we're going to take our glue, grab our little sunflower holder for our glue. Here's our multi-purpose liquid glue. And we're going to glue onto this tab instead of onto this, because this here is wider, you can see, right? You don't want to go beyond the tab. So you're going to put your glue directly onto your little tab there. Whoops. And then we're going to connect two of them together. So we're actually making it super long. And you want to do that to make the medallion with this set. So this is a fun die. You're going to love it. If you don't have the Round We Go bundle yet, this is the die that's going to sell you on it. So I'm just going to let that sit. We're not going to put the medallion together yet, but I'm going to bond these two together now. So let's go ahead and glue them just a little bit on that tab. Come around and connect. And then kind of squish little sections together to hold it. There we go. So I'm just going to hold it for a few seconds. Thank you, Patty. She said, don't worry about your nails. We don't care how they look. I have heard, though, from other viewers that they don't like watching people with ugly nails. But I can't help it, you guys. I just have ugly nails. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I used to paint them all the time. And then I took a few years off, and then I started trying again. And yeah, it just doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a few more seconds, and I'm going to introduce you now to the PDF that you can access through my blog post that will be available after this video is done. So let's pull that up on the computer, and you can take a peek at this. Oops, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay, so here's the PDF that you will have access to when my blog post that's connected to this video goes live. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, the blog post is linked there right now, but when you click on it, it's not going to go anywhere. At 12:15, so in about 45 minutes, it will be accessible. You'll be able to access this PDF. Those of you watching on Facebook, I will transfer that information right after this video is done, or as soon as I can after this video is done, and then you can click on that link, or you can just go to my website at stampyourartout.com, and it should be the latest post, okay? So here we have the fanned medallion card and we have the flat medallion card. I have two different cards that I'm going to walk you through. Not fully, but I'm going to walk you through like direction-wise, right? And then those are the supplies for all 4 projects. I only gave the measurements on this PDF for 2 of them because I couldn't fit everything on, but in the blog post, you're going to get additional measurements for the base of the box, and you're going to get additional measurements for the page. All right. So let's start with, boom, boom, boom. Let's start with putting this together. So on the card, you can see we have our base piece, which is Summer Splash. I've also used the Coastal Cabana color. So my colors are triadic. Remember we were talking about the 4 different types of color theory. It's triadic using the Summer Splash, Pumpkin Pie, and Berry Burst, but also lighter and darker versions, right? So Berry Burst and Petunia Pop go really well together. Pumpkin Pie and Peach Pie, Summer Splash, and Coastal Cabana. It's almost like one is a lighter or darker shade of the other. And so we have Summer Splash and Coastal Cabana for this base cardstock. We have Peach Pie and Pumpkin Pie cardstock in the middle. We have Petunia Pop and Berry Burst in the middle. All of this glimmer paper comes from the In Color Glimmer Paper Pack that has all 5 colors, the Shy Shamrock, Petunia, Pretty Pink, Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, and Peach Pie, which goes really well with the Unbounded Love designer paper, right? In fact, you can get it all in a suite. All right, next. Let's put this together. Do you see one smaller than the other? That is because you can take, and here this one's kind of flattened out over time here, you can take and make them smaller with a trimmer, with a scissors. You could probably tear it if you wanted to. But the way that I would do that is I would just take either a long scissors, or I'd flatten it out again, or I'd cut it before I folded, and you just trim. You can see this one has the pointy edges, the little points, and this one has rounded. That is because you have 2 options on the die. You have a rounded side and you have a pointed side. So if you push all of this together here, like that, get them in there, like that, you're going to get the rounded edge. If you go the opposite way, you're going to get the pokey edge. All right, so you have choices on how you want to glue these pieces together. Let's go ahead and glue it since we've held it down here. We're going to take this Summer Splash piece, and where did my glue gun go? Here it is. All right, we're going to plug it in, bring it over to the table here, and have it in front of the punch so it doesn't go away from me. And then I'm going to grab, sorry, again, this is part of my not being organized right before the video examples. Okay, so I'm going to heat up the heat tool, and I'm going to grab my punch, which is, oh, what's holding the glue gun? Hang on. The 1 3/4 inch circle punch is the one that I use, but you could really use any circle punch that's either larger or slightly larger or slightly smaller than that, just enough to give it a base, because you want to have that circle underneath. The top part is I'm going to grab from the dies. So here we have some circles. This is a solid circle with, again, etched lines. This one here actually cuts, so you wouldn't want to use that because it's got very fine details to it. So is this one. But then you have like, oh, that one makes holes. This one makes holes. But you have these 2 circles as well. So these make full circles. These make little holes. And these circles here could be used if you kept that circle that big, or this one. That's pretty big. So you wouldn't have to necessarily grab an extra punch. It's just the product that I used. I used the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. All right, let's take our Where did our, hang on. Oh, there it is. Okay. It needs some more glue in it. So let's take our circle that I've punched out, and I'm just going to add some glue to it, which it's not going. All right. You get the idea. You're going to hot glue it. You're going to run the glue on there. You're going to bring, oops, you're going to hot glue it. You know what I would do? I would do it this way. Put it down, flip it over, and stick it on top, okay? Keep this thing flat because once you take your hand off of it, it flies away. And again, if you want to make it smaller, you can just cut. And you would just cut evenly like this all the way across. And then when you put this thing together, again, you have a smaller example of it. Ta-da! Keep moving off the camera. Then after you've got the base on there, then you can put the top on there. And I did this again with those dies from the set. And that's how I got those little guys there. This piece here is embossed. Have you seen these awesome embossing folders? I'm going to take off the cutting mats and the die adapter plate. And I'm going to bring in instead, here it is, the gray plate. All of these plates come with your machine when you get it. And so we're going to take some white cardstock, which I didn't prepare, but I'm just going to show you an example of how this works. So if you're new to embossing, you take your embossing folder, you open it up, you put your paper in between, you sandwich this with the seam going towards the middle first. You sandwich it between the bottom plate and the gray plate, and then you crank it. And sometimes when you use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, things seem a little tight, but you just, as long as you're using the right combo, you should be good. You peel it away and look at the gorgeousness of the 3D embossing folder. This one is called Dotted Circles. So that's how I got that look. We'll move this back over here, out of the way, because we're going to need that again. And I'm going to unplug the hot glue gun because we didn't do it. All right. Next. All right, so, and then this little piece down here is just a 1/2 inch tall by 2 inches wide. I stamped it afterwards because this stamp set is photopolymer, so you can see through it. And I just took the Hip Hip Hooray and stamped it once on that tiny little piece. I was able to see through to get it to stamp correctly. There's a lot of dimension on this card. This type of die is going on a card that you either going to give to somebody in person, or you're going to put, say, on a 3D project or gift or a tag or a box. It's up to you, but just know that it adds thickness, lots of thickness. And you want to put it probably in a bubble mailer, because even if you put it through with a non-machinable stamp, sometimes things get flattened out. And this one could get flattened if you don't put it in a bubble mailer. Do you see how tall this is too? It's so tall that I had to put 2 dimensionals under that corner to have it lift the same amount as the medallion that's sitting up on the right side underneath it. I didn't stamp anything on the inside because this could be any kind of celebratory card. It could be a card talking about oh gosh, it could be a card talking about graduation. It could be a card talking about a promotion, right? So there we have the information for that triadic color theory card, hidden template, page 82. Now let's go to our second card. Our second card is cut in a slightly different way. You can see the base is different. So let's go ahead and cut that base. for the base of that cardstock, instead of cutting in this direction to make a card that folds that way, we're going to cut it in this direction. So you're going to cut it at 5.5 inches. I'm bringing this edge to the 5.5 inch mark. This is our berry burst color, by the way. Using my dark blade to cut, I've labeled my scoring blade on most of my trimmers with the word score so that I know the difference. Although it's a light blade, but you never want to take your dark blade and try to score with it. Pull that out of the way and then press your scoring blade in so that you've lined this up at 4.25 inches, and now we've got our card base folded exactly in half. These pieces here are the same on the outside as they are on the inside. We have this piece that measures, I believe, 3.5. Let me look on my paper. Yep, 3.5. Let me grab some white cardstock. I've left all my drawers open because I knew I would have to come and grab things because I did not have things ready. All right, so we want 3.5. Oops, dark blade. It's okay if you score accidentally, but you don't want to cut when you're supposed to be scoring. Okay, then by 3.5 by 4.75, we need one for the outside and one for the inside. Then for our black cardstock, we're going to go just slightly bigger than that. So instead of 3.5, we're going to go to the 3 5/8. On our Stampin' Up! Trimmers, that is 2 little notches over. All right, so 3.5, 1 notch, 2 notches, 3 5/8. And instead of 4 3/4, it's 4 7/8. And doing that with either the black or the white cardstock, you can get 5 pieces from one sheet because this extra left over, especially for the black, gives you exactly enough space to get 3 more. And this one you have just a little bit of excess. So just note that that's a great layering size. At the most, the 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, let's scoot those things out of the way. So now I have my layers for my card. I have my inside and I have my outside layers. And then I need these little pieces here. And you'll notice that I have some scraps for all of those, except for this one here is definitely measured. So let's grab some Coastal Cabana. Coastal Cabana. And we want to have a 4-inch long piece by 1/2 inch long. So there we go. There's our little piece for our sentiment. You could do that with the Summer Splash too, but it is a slightly darker color. Here you can see again the difference between Summer Splash and Coastal Cabana. Then we've got some scraps that are glimmer paper. So again, that comes from this beautiful collection of glimmer paper, because within that glimmer paper you do have triadic color combinations. Now these aren't the exact size circles, but I'm just going to pull those out for now. And then we also need a little strip of that. So let's bring our die cutting machine back in because I want to show you what I did for this strip here. This is with the die. You can barely see it. It's just a tiny little scallop edge. I took my base plate, die adapter plate, cutting mat, scratchy one down first. Then I took the glimmer paper that I wanted to use and this die. You could have a pointy edge, you could have the scallop. I used the scallop, so all I did is lay it. I laid it real carefully so that I had just maybe a 1/2 inch in on the glimmer paper. And I sandwiched it with my other cutting mat, cranked it through, and what I got was just the right amount to add a fun edge underneath my hip hip hooray. So you'd stamp this piece twice. Remember on our first card we had a 2-inch long piece. On this card we have a 4-inch long piece. So that hip hip hooray should fit on there twice. For the medallions, just have fun. I don't have my examples with me, but basically I just took a bunch of scrap white and I started playing around. Let's do some of that playing around. I'm not going to actually, here's my stamps. I'm not actually going to make all those medallions, but I'm going to show you how they're made. So you take these pieces here. Gosh, that one got on the outside here. Put that one back in. Okay, so you take those pieces here. Oh, and I also used the circles because you can see some are stamped on here. So I used these circles here. There's another circle that goes inside the smaller one. I didn't necessarily do it there, did I? But you're just going to take and stamp. Let's use Petunia Pop. Some of them, like this one here, I did full color of the two colors, like pumpkin pie and peach pie. Those were full color of each. But on this one, right here, this is what I believe I did. I don't remember exactly, but I stamped it once, and then I lifted it and turned it and stamped it again. And this is where you want to be right over the top of it to line it up well. There, I did it. Yay! And that's how you get a two-tone effect without using two different colors. I believe I did that with the Coastal Cabana here as well. You can see these little asterisks sticking out here and there. After I did these and cut out 3, I laid them down where they would go on my card. And here you can see the hidden template. It's right there, okay? But I laid them down on my card, 1, 2, 3, these little guys. And then I said, oh, I have a white space up here, so I'm going to stamp something there. So I pulled those away and I stamped a medallion down. And then I put everything back in again, 1, 2, 3, and in my filled space. And I said, oh, there's another big white space down here. So I pushed everything away and I stamped another one down there. So that's how I did that stamping, is I laid everything, put it where I wanted it, and then put everything back in place and checked to make sure it would all fit again. The little asterisks just filled in spaces. So after this was all kind of put where I wanted it to go, then I took this piece. And this piece is a larger stamp than what you see on the card. Do you see that? I only have 2 here, or I have 1 there. That's because I only inked up 1 or 2 of these. So I inked up just that one and stamped it down. I inked up a couple of them and stamped them down together here, okay? So you don't have to ink them all up. You can go on the corner of your ink pad when you're inking your stamps. And the little holes that are inside here are part of the dies. So let me grab those dies again. So after I've cut out my images, you want to line them up. Then you take this one too, or you can do them both at the same time. In fact, I'll just quickly demonstrate that for you. But you're going to take Post-it notes. You'll lay everything nice and neatly in place, like this and like that. Then you stick your Post-it note, sticky side going across everything, like that. And let's crank it through and see if we did well. Okay. And that's how you get that look right there. All the little fun little holes around it, and then the cutout image, which I could have done neater had I gone a little slower, but you got the idea. All right, bringing this measuring tool, the trimmer back in, and we're going to grab another piece of Berry Burst cardstock. This piece of cardstock is 5.5 inches tall in this direction, and I'm going to cut it to 6 3/4 inches. If you do this twice, and yes, you can get 2 of them from one sheet, you have the makings for the perfect size box when you're using the exact same layers that you used on your last card. So this piece here, after it's decorated, goes on the top of the box. This is your box top, and you have another one exactly the same size at first for the box base. I did share making a box like this in one of my previous videos for paper pumpkin projects. And so to do that, you've got this size. You're going to score in. On this one, you're going to score in 3/4 of an inch all the way around. 3/4, 3/4. Okay, I'm using the measurements over here. 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. You fold, you cut tabs, you connect the corners, right? For the box base, instead of 5.5 by 6 3/4, you're going to go back 1/16 of an inch. And you're going to do that initial cut on this edge and that initial cut on this edge. And then you score the same way. It's going to make the base slightly smaller so it fits within the cover. After you've done that, all those score lines throughout are going to make this thing fit on there. Just great. All right, so let's move that out of the way because I want to show you that finished card and that finished box. Box with lid, card, right? Okay, there we go. So here's a couple examples of the same sort of design. I used different medallions on this one because I said to myself, well, I have extra that I'd been playing around with, different color combos. I chose these first because they were a little less bold and strong. But for the box, I thought, oh, let's use up some of my leftover pieces here. So you can see that the base here, this design here is very similar, but my medallions have different color combos on them, ones that I was playing around with. So that's the box, and this is the card. Same type of thing. There's the inside, by the way. We're going to stick with this card now for the last project. The last project, so far I've shown 2 cards, the 3D one and this one, and then the box. I'm going to shove these things over. For the last project, it's a scrapbook page. And for the scrapbook page, it will help if you make yourself a little ruler. A little ruler or guide or whatever you want to call it that's 1 inch deep in 2 different sizes here for a corner. Okay, you're just going to cut a little rectangle, cut in so that it's 1 inch around on that corner. That's going to help guide you so that when you take your photo mats, and for the sake of making scrapbooking easy, I'm just going to cut this cardstock in half at 4 1/4. I'm going to cut these pieces in half again at 5 1/2. This is the same size you would use for making a card, right? And this could be a photo mat for you with your 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch photo. You could stick one there. So I'm going to just put this on like that, and then I'm going to use my adhesive. And right now I'm just going to use some temporary adhesive. This is Herma adhesive. Hermafix Transfer is what it used to be called. Okay, I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to stick this up in there and press it in place. Let's do the same thing with this one. Again, I'm just putting temporary adhesive on here because this is not going to be a page that I actually am using. I've got a finished page done already. Laying that in place, and then I'm going to stick that in the corner and press it down. One more time in this corner here. This is Scrapbooking 101. For those of you who are noticing that Stampin' Up! Is releasing more and more scrapbooking products, in fact, a big release will happen in September. Right now they've opened up the Close to My Heart products to everybody. So if you have been dying to get your hands on them, you can now. But more products are coming in September. and you're dying to get started on scrapbooking, this is a great way to start if you're new to it. You make a page layout like this, where all you have to do is add one of your pretty cards that you've made. You have horizontal and vertical photo spots. You can take and do a matching page on this side with 4 more photos. And then you can take those fun little medallions that you were creating and you can place them here and there as accents. And that's how you come up with this design. So there is that. Scrapbooking made easy, right? So if you're a card maker, you can be a scrapbooker is basically what I'm sharing with you right now. You do not have to get into elaborate layouts yet. Start playing around with just making simple photo mat layouts like this. Add your cards that could be your focal point or your title for your page, and you have instant scrapbook pages created. Oh, thanks. All right, yay. I hope that you liked these ideas that I shared with you. Let me go ahead and bring out the 3 finished cards. Remember, there's a lot of hidden gems in that catalog. There's hidden gems, there's highlights, there's things that we haven't done before with Stampin' Up! Catalogs, and they are to help guide you even more. Sure, they make you go to the online store to see certain things, but that's okay. That's the way of the world. It's good to look at the online store once in a while. Right? All right. So let's move on to prizes that we had from last week. I'm going to close something out here on my computer. I actually have some prize winners that have not claimed prizes yet. Barbara Schmitz, Judy Goderer, Rita Solar, Elaine Schneider, Debbie Renfo Standifer. Those 5 of you have not claimed prizes yet, and you have a month to do it. So the first people that I listed, your time's almost up. Reach out to me. My email address is stampyourartout@comcast.net if you are a prize winner that I just called out from past prize claims. Okay, so last week we had a video and video class, and the prize was embellishment, and now we have pearls left. Embellishment and Wink of Stella. Where'd they go? Here they are. So those are for our prize winners that we had from last week's After Live comments. If you commented on the YouTube after the live was done, your name went into a drawing. If you commented in Facebook, your name went into a drawing. And I have to tell you, that is one thing I did not prepare before the live today. So the live winners will be announced on my blog post that's linked in this description of the video. Again, Facebook people, you'll get that link put in soon after this live is done. So you'll want to visit that link, and I will add the winners' names to there. And then next week, I promise that I will call them out for those of you that don't have time to go to my blog post. For this week's winners, we have paper again. I have so much designer paper that I've sectioned off into 6x6 sizes. Lots of paper in here, you guys. And we're going to have people that Trisha calls out are going to be the winners of 40 sheets of designer paper. You get 40 sheets. So if she calls out your name, you're going to email me at the email address that you see there, and I will just send you some random 40 sheets of designer paper. I see the names popping up, so I'm going to go ahead and grab them on my iPad here, but let me call them out as we say it. Suzanne Hertzler and Stephanie Hahn. Congratulations to you 2 winners. And again, I'm sorry that I did not have winners that were drawn from the After Live comments from last time. I don't know. It's summer, you guys. Tomorrow we go to the state fair. It's going to be fun, but there's just so much going on. There we go. Yay, we pulled them up. Suzanne Hertzler and Stephanie Hahn, congratulations. Thank you, Trisha, for calling out those winners. And what else? We have news. Stampin' Up! News, there's a designer paper sale going on right now. So select designer papers from the annual catalog, which we just highlighted today. The annual catalog, certain designer paper packs from there are on sale this month, through the end of this month. And then we also have bonus days redemption going on. So if you purchased in July, at least $50 worth of product before shipping and tax, you would have earned a bonus day coupon. That bonus day coupon you can redeem now on any August order that you place. Is the Wink of Stella still available? I don't see it. It's available in the online store. So sometimes you may not see something in the annual catalog like we were just talking about, but there might be a little shopping basket next to it. So my guess is it's on the metallic pages. I'm not sure. That's where I would guess it would be, but it would be a little basket icon and it would be a mention instead of showing the whole product. Okay? And Karen's going to the fair on Friday. I'm going tomorrow because my son used to be in marching band. He's now a graduated senior, but he used to be in marching band. And the band always plays on the first opening day of the state fair. And my sister, who has my nephew, right? He's still in band. He's a 12th grader this year. And so we're going to cheer him on. And then I'm going to have my sister hang out with us because the chaperones that go so do the kids, but they get time to kind of go and enjoy the fair. So we're going to meet up with her and walk around and have fun and try lots of gluten-free, well, I am, gluten-free finds. There's always new foods at the fair too. If you've never been to the Minnesota State Fair, you should check it out. It's a really great event. Okay, so what's going on? Next week, I will be live on Wednesday, August 28th. Can you believe it's already the end of August? I cannot believe it. August 28th. But that one will be, that one will be at 11 a.m. Central Time, August 28th. And then this Friday is when I'm going to go live again as a bonus online paper crafting class, but it's going to be focused on paper pumpkin. Just got my paper pumpkin kit 2 nights ago. I'm not one of the first ones. And I have been designing on paper what I'm going to create with it. And I hope to have projects done to share with you in just a couple days. So I'm going to do a bonus live on Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. And Trisha and Lisa are so wonderful. They're going to be back with us. So we'll go live on both platforms. Extra live, 10 a.m. this Friday. Same time, same place kind of thing. I think that's all the announcements I have for you. So have a great next couple days or have a great week if I see you next time instead. But yeah, hope you can join me again. And again, my blog is stampyourartout.com. I'll transfer the information from the YouTube video over to the Facebook in the next few minutes. And then you can click on that link and you can visit the blog post for more additional information on the projects I shared today. I hope you had fun. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Trisha and Lisa. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.